Welcome back to my channel. Angular's dependency injection system is complex, powerful, and flexible. One fascinating feature is that dependency injection is deeply integrated into the view layer. Each component and directive automatically provides itself to the injector. That's interesting, right? Let's explore this idea in today's video and see what benefits we can gain from it. Stay tuned, it's going to be a fun one. My name is Maksym. This channel is about web development. Let's get started. As I said, component will provide itself automatically to host injector. To verify it, let's create a new component and play with it. And we need a directive to inject the component. I've created a full component and rendered it in the app component. Here is. First of all, we cannot inject full component into itself. That would create a circular dependency, but the directive should be able to inject it. Let's add directive to app full tag and check console. I injected full component into full directive and added it to console log in constructor. Now I need to take full directive to app component and apply this directive on app full. The directive successfully injects the component. You see full component rendered in full directive. Why? Because Angular automatically registers the component in the injector and the directive picks it up. You might wonder, isn't this useless? Actually, no. This is the foundation of how Angular treats even native HTML elements as part of its virtual DOM. Each tag is associated with an ElementRef, and Angular makes it injectable. Each tag also provides itself to the injector. Let's inject component host. I'm going to do it in full component. I injected ElementRef and rendered it in console log. All HTML tags are encapsulated into the ElementRef token with generic type in it. App.foo is a custom HTML tag. HTML5 allows us to have such tags. Let's go forward with our knowledge. I have wrapped app.foo into the div, so I should be able to inject div, right? I'm injecting the parent host using the inject function with skip self option flag and added it to console log. In the console, we see the div element has been injected. That means every native HTML element has an injector context. Even better, Angular allows us to inject a component from a directive, even when the directive is in the context of the component, not just on the tag. Let's test this by placing the directive inside the app.foo component's content. This content will not be rendered inside app.foo. But in the console, we see that the directive was created, and it successfully injected full component. Let's flip the logic. Can a component inject a directive? Yes, let's try two approaches. First, injecting a directive on the parent element. Second, using a host directive. We'll create a new directive to avoid circular dependencies and add it to the parent element of full component. I'm generating bar directive. I don't need anything from it, just bar directive. I have imported it to app component and added it to a div, which is wrapper of app.foo. And now I need to inject it in full component. Let's verify. And it's done. I can see bar directive in console. The component successfully injects the directive. This proves that if a component or directive exists with the context of another, Angular can inject it. Why is it useful? Think about how reactive forms work. Select can automatically find the form control directive. Also, form control name can find its parent control via dependency injection. This allows Angular to traverse the DOM tree and resolve value intuitively. Let's put our bar directive on app_foo tag. The directive is injected successfully. That means that directive is created before component, so component can inject the directive. If I put app_foo on the same tag, everything still works. In this case, we have a complex chain of dependencies. Angular will create app bar, then create app_foo component and provide app bar inside. Then Angular will create app_foo and provide app component inside app_foo. It means that it's not necessary that component will go first and then directives. Sometimes directive can be created before component. Of course, it's not possible to make circular dependency, but it's good that we are able to inject component in directive and vice versa if it's needed. Now let's try the second approach. Add bar directive as a host directive using the hostDirectives array in foo component. Removing app bar from host element. Adding bar directive into host component array of foo component. I don't need to modify inject logic. Let's see the result. It still works. In fact, the directive is injected before the component is initialized. Angular creates host directives first and then the component itself. Before we wrap up, there is one more specific element to cover, ngTemplate. Template can be injected using the TemplateRef token. We'll create a bus directive that injects TemplateRef. TemplateRef token also has generic param if we want to specify what should be inside of template, some interface. Let's test it with two cases. A directly defined ngTemplate and second an asterisk structural directive version. Let's add some template in app component template. I have imported bus directive to app component, added a random template and added app bus on it. I see template in console now. It means that my directive injected the template successfully. It's one of the possible ways to use structural directive like ngIf or ngFor. And second approach, via structural directive with asterisks. And let's verify. Reload the page. The result is the same. What asterisk does? Technically, it's an alias for the commented out example. But it's out of scope of this video. I can explain it in another playlist when I have time for it. It's time to summarize the lesson. Angular dependency isn't just about services. It's deeply tied to the view layer. Components and directives provide themselves to the nearest injector. Native HTML elements are also injectable via ElementRef. Components can inject directives and vice versa, as long as circular dependencies are avoided. TemplateRef allows you to inject templates into directives. Understanding these behaviors help you build more flexible and powerful Angular components. You can even inject app component itself from anywhere. That's how flexible Angular's injector tree is. I hope you found this video informative and interesting. Thank you for watching this playlist. See you in the next video. Bye!